is quantum clock. Precise.
Perfect.
Printed.
Go on.
Yep, printed. Do you have one in there? Sorry.
Should be in front of you.
You can have this. Yeah, there.
Here, you take my appliances until
Thank
1 minute
you.
off.
Sorry, Jeff. I'm sorry for a little bit. All right.
We're on?
Yep.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, January 13th meeting of the Newmarket Planning Board. If everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I see we have a member of the public here. Any comments for this evening? Right. Hearing none, I will close the public comments. Next item agenda are the review and approval of the December 19th, 2025 meeting minutes. Any modifications, changes, corrections? Hearing none, can I have a motion? I'm sorry?
Sorry, Val.
Yep, go ahead.
The dates are off.
The dates are off.
Well, you said the 19th, and then when you turn the page,
9th, the 9th of 2025.
it was the 9th.
9th, yeah, sorry.
The inner pages say December 30th. Or is that something
Got
else?
something else.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
just the
my
date
bad.
of the document.
Yep.
Oh, that's another document.
Yep.
Okay, 2-page agenda.
I'll make
Go ahead, Jeff.
a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I have a motion from Jeff. Is there a second? Second. Second from Jane. All those in, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. There is nothing on our regular business this evening, so we will move right into Bart's comments on and thoughts about establishing a long-range planning committee or a subcommittee relative to the implementation of master plan.
So last meeting, kind of had a slight discussion on this idea that I've been thinking about for a little bit on maybe establishing a new committee / and or subcommittee on really kind of having two goals. One is to kind of oversee and advise the planning board of master plan implementation. So kind of being a not a steward, but someone that an entity that's helping the planning board, because the planning board may have a busy agenda, might not get to things. So having a constant body kind of in tune with the master plan and advising the planning board accordingly on implement and achieving the goals. And two, sorry, go ahead.
No.
All right. And two, you know, the second charge would be kind of the high-level discussions of future community needs as it relates to community development efforts in the realms of, for the most part, economic development, environmental, public health, transportation, cultural advancements, and energy needs. So it's allowing for a public interface or a continuing discussion on, yes, we have our master plan, we know we want, you know, right now 5-10 years, but what comes after. So ideally how this would flow is we can have these high level discussions, ideas can come up, and as the master plan, you know, becomes enacted, we start achieving some goals, we can start thinking about maybe populating. So we don't have to have, it's more of a streamlined process. A lot of the ideas that we go through the master plan efforts, it won't be as hopefully time consuming. You know, we might have many well thought out efforts that we want to populate into a future master plan. So that's kind of my idea. I'm not sure if it's good, so that's why I want to have a discussion.
Do you have you envisioned as far as the makeup of a committee?
And that's the thing I want to discuss. I was kind of jotting down. We kind of want to have I'm not sure what a good number of people would be, but from what I have been thinking about, we want to make sure that we have maybe the committees come together. So at least have one member of each, some relevant committees. So I was thinking planning board, conservation, public transportation, energy, and then school board, town council. So that brings us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 members. So you want odd. So I would like to have more people from the community.
How many members are on the budget committee right now? 9 or 7? Anybody remember?
And
Cause
last night there was 5, so it might be 9.
Okay. Because that would give the opportunity to have members of the public
Yep.
from, if you think about the chapters of the master plan kind of representation.
I was thinking
And
3.
a lot of the committees have public members on them to
Yep.
pull from. Any thoughts on Bart's idea?
Quick question would be, are they, guessing it would be an advisory committee?
Yeah. So
And
it's,
would they vote on anything? Or, like, if they're like, do we want to send this recommendation to the planning board, would they have to vote?
yeah, I think they would, want to have some kind of consensus. Yes, amongst themselves.
What do you think this offers the community that they don't have today?
A opportunity to talk about the future more.
You don't think they have that today?
No.
Or which entity is doing that?
Yeah.
might
I
be
think
the
there's a lot
question.
of a lot of busy agendas for the most part. I think if you have something that's dedicated to the future, well, current and future, and allow for, like that high level discussions, sometimes philosophical, sometimes, practical, on, where do we want to go as a community. A lot of these boards don't have that opportunity. They don't just don't have time. So I think we had a dedicated body to have those discussions and have those opportunities to participate. I think it would be very fruitful.
The collaboration between the boards would be good. That way the zoning board, the planning board, and the energy committee can, I know there are members, representative members, but not between all boards.
Right.
And be able to have like a discussion that they can bring back and say, this is where these people see us going, instead of everyone going
And like,
slightly.
I know everyone's busy, so I was thinking, how many times do we meet? I was thinking maybe it's a quarterly meeting. Maybe 6 times a year or 4 times a year. And then maybe we can have people come in presentations. So it's just an opportunity to just really kind of think about the future, and then at the same time checking in with those people responsible in carrying out the master plan. So
That's where I see the value of it.
yeah,
Is that that there's some consistency on the committee where representatives are reporting in as to the recommendations in the master plan. 'Cause when you talk about future, where are we going in the future, the big thing, it's like, well, how are we achieving what is in the master plan, which is the future next 10 years? We oftentimes do the master plan chapters, but then we don't have the follow-up on the implementation.
Yeah, I think
Could they,
they're-
could they work on specific projects, like, I've been hearing about getting rid of the post office, removing the post office.
I wouldn't see that as this committee.
no, not that detailed.
Yeah.
You could be checking in with if there's an entity in the master plan, it's like economic development or something, who's in charge of that.
Yeah, I
you
guess,
say
I
where
think
you
the
are.
problem with the post office is, we just don't even know how to do it, right? I think the idea would be, somebody's gotta figure out how to do it, and then the
Well,
people that are already here can do it.
there's no one here on NCDC anymore, right? So I think that's the question to NCDC. Because they have plans, they've been working on it. Are they not, is there a council rep on the NCDC?
No, and
I was gonna
I
say,
think
do
they
they still
give us
meet?
up on it.
Excuse me?
Do they still meet, NCDC?
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
But I would agree, that would be more of an NCDC task, I would think.
And they should be a representative on this committee because they are charged with several of the items as far as implementation within the Economic Development Committee, economic development master plan.
Yeah. Well, then that would be
Chapter.
good.
Yeah, so I think going through the master plan, there's a lot of actions and kind of priorities of how to meet the goals. Quite a few lists are really good, also very long. And so I think this committee could be really good at focusing, because like, there's only so many people, so many hours in a day. It can help kind of match what the public interested is, what the town's able to achieve, and kind of maybe help keep those tasks on focus and prioritized, which would normally, I think, fall to us to kind of, as the planning board, master plan shepherds. That's a lot in that plan, so I think that committee could be really good. And quarterly is probably enough for like the town to get through things, have presentations, and we can kind of more advisory or check in, making sure that they're working on the things we think they should be working on. The town thinks they should be working on towards that. So I see value there too.
Do you see this as requiring more of your staff time or less?
Still more, but I think it's beneficial.
And do you-
Organizing meeting, you know, so it would be mostly that, I would think, and then, you know, preparing materials, discussion topics.
Do you have the bandwidth? I didn't know if the committee would, if you're, as the town,
I was hoping to
community
make-
development director, you're kind of charged with the whole implementation of the master plan, per se, as you're kind of the gatekeeper, person, administrator. Is a committee going to help you achieve those objectives by hopefully offloading some of your time?
Yeah, we'll see. I think we just want to understand what we want to do. So, to answer your question, yes, I can have I do have the bandwidth to be the staff person for this committee. You know, depending on the subject too, I can lean on some of my colleagues. I'm not going to, you know, tell them, volunteer them, but this has already been done with like the public transportation committee. So me
Okay.
and Lindsay co-staff that, so it's not unprecedented. But again, I think this has a lot of potential value that, and one, it's, you know, related to my job. So, you know, I would like to dedicate time to this.
So it would help you with achieving the goals and objectives of your position.
It'll help
Is that
me
what I'm
and it'll
hearing?
help the community, I think.
Yeah, I think just because the master plan is such a long lead thing, it's not like you're getting constant updates where you could have a meeting focused on a different chapter, and you know, over the course of 2 years you can cover the full master plan, and I don't think that's a bad thing because it's such a forward-looking long-term plan. And so because you're covering different chapters, I'm sure that we can have different, because that covers really the entire community. So I could see different town reps, town staff popping in depending on the subject matter. If it's, you can go over one if you want,
Yeah.
Bart, but I'm
Yeah.
sure, like, you know, there's going to be different areas that we'll want to hear from maybe a town person.
Because there's other entities responsible for different action items. And I think the great thing about this is that everyone becomes more in tune with it. It's not just planning board, you know, it's hopefully a lot more of the community.
So that would, because that would be the goal of the committee itself. So do you see any, like, what do you see the challenges are in trying to put this together, in having it work successfully?
I think just really understanding the charge. I think we have to, you know, develop that a little more. You know, so I think maybe coming to the planning board in the next meeting with a more refined charge,
And when you say charge, are you talking like a charter?
purpose.
Okay,
You know,
so make sure,
yeah.
okay, I understand what you're saying, yep.
Purpose for the, exactly.
Like yeah, you have 4 meetings, and then people disperse back to their boards, and what do they bring back
Right.
to those boards for an action item or an idea? Or is it just one board that everything, you know? It'd
Or
be
they're
interesting
bringing
to see how
from
they-
the board to the
To them.
committee?
But then it's got to go back though, because the committee is only advisory, right? So someone's going to bring an idea, and they'll work something out maybe.
Well, I
and
mean, it's
bring it
not-
back to people that can actually take action.
It's not unlike the master plan where we didn't write any of the chapters, right? So we didn't own the development of any of those. All those other committees did. And so I think it'd be much the same way, where that kind of workshopping of ideas and all that does stay with those original committees. The advisory is just kind of doing what we do now, where it's we're reading them, we're assessing, is this matching kind of the big vision, but they're able to take some of that and do it more periodically. So yeah, I think those committees would still be charged with the same chapters, the same kind of missions.
And then you'd have the planning board rep reporting in, you know, at our monthly meetings as to, you know, how is the master plan advancing?
I think there would have to be some focus per
Yeah.
meeting with like a
Oh, definitely, I think the
Very,
committee would
very-
outline, would,
very focused, or
Yeah,
else
I
you
think
end up
you-
with
Their own-
like 30 ideas every month.
I think you go
Right.
chapter by
Oh,
chapter, right?
yeah.
This is the goals outlined. Where are you at on that? What are you focusing on? Is that the right priority? Oh, this thing happened. Maybe we need to shift focus.
So yeah, so maybe the ways the meetings are developed is you have that master plan section, then you have, you know, the discussion section about something else. So it's just, you know, two-tiered. And then it's just, and then within that second discussion, maybe there's a presentation, you know, that someone had an idea about, and then there's an expert out there that could talk about this and help facilitate discussion, make it more fruitful. So kind of see like you know, something like that.
Drill in each chapter.
are you looking for something to have another grant?
Another grant? Well, no, I mean, it doesn't have to be that. So again, you know, we can develop this a little more. But
I think it would also have the ability to, you know, everything will be prioritized when the master plan is finally rolled out, right?
Yeah.
Within each chapter, and then first for a subgroup to be able to look at, here are all of the priorities, and then are there any conflicts within there, and then how, where really should, particularly because of, you know, sensitivity to resources with staff, how things get implemented.
Yeah, you could use this as to try to facilitate the implementation pieces of it, right?
Because I've seen ideas like an energy committee where it's like, that's a great idea, but who's the right person to talk to? Like it's kind of like where you take this and put it in the right place to be nurtured, because, you know, we're just a small little, that committee has a small little kind of purview or experience. So with this being kind of multidisciplinary of different groups, it might facilitate that better, finding the right person to take on an idea or networking that.
I can definitely see the value in having a designated space to keep the conversation running versus letting it drop altogether for however long until reviews get come back up.
I think if it helps dialogue, I think that's real important. But I think we need to be clear about what an advisory group is versus, say, like the planning board. I just don't want anyone to say, excuse me, yeah, but, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure everyone understands roles and responsibilities. But I love the idea about the open dialogue and kind of driving it. You know, so it would kind of be like the CIP, meaning different members from different organizations, and as an advisory role, correct?
Yeah.
So it would be just like CIP, yet we're hearing some from other committees and other groups that CIP is nothing, it's a waste, we got to get rid of it. I just want to make sure if we're going to do something, that we give them a foundation that's strong enough to let them thrive, as opposed to just kind of flounder.
yeah, no, I agree. You know, I originally thought that maybe CIP would have, you know, be that, you know, the entity to do this, but you know, again, we can have that discussion. But I think from what I've seen, what I've heard from different community members is that, you know, if we're planning our future, we really want to relate back to this master plan. And so, yeah.
Can I rephrase?
Yeah.
You really make, the master plan is the plan for the future.
It is, but
Okay, I think it gets back to Bill's, you know, comment about implementation. We've spent so many resources, money, time on developing the update to the master plan for the full replacement. It is really our roadmap for the next 10 years. But how is it going to be implemented? How, you know, who's going to facilitate that whole process of all of the work that's been done. So I already feel like this effort to develop the master plan that we have been spending the past year, and we will continue with the next probably 5 to 6 months to get the roadmap.
Yep.
And then who kind of shepherds that in? And I can totally see that the mission of the committee would primarily be focused on that.
That's what you're kind of saying, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Like, and then it goes back to the chapter, the committee relevant to the chapter, would take the ideas back, and then the next chapter to the next committee, so on and so forth. Would it be
But are you thinking something different than that? I keep hearing like this high levels, kind
Yeah,
of future planning and.
It's like I said, this is the dual mandate of this committee, is that master plan, yeah, exactly, this kind of a body that is focusing the master plan and its implementation and advises the planning board on its progress. 1. 2, a public forum to have community development related discussions as it relates to community development, which is a swath of things. So I want to have a place where that can happen. It doesn't really happen.
So you feel it's not happening at the town council level, which is kind of their charge.
Well, I think they just have different agendas. So I mean, not different agendas, but town council has packed agendas already. So I would like another entity to kind of facilitate discussions, to advise planning board, to advise town council on these items. I think they serve different roles. Council serves different role than this body would, so, and then planning board would have, potentially, packed agendas. I know we don't have it right now, but it could change, where we couldn't, the board couldn't do it, we meet once a month.
So would it be simply like that? This group would get together, they'd pick the, say, energy chapter, and then out of it would come, maybe a couple of meetings. They develop an idea in energy, and it goes back to the energy group. They put together a more formal idea and present it to the town council to actually take action on, or something like.
Well, it doesn't even. Yeah, it could be that, or it could be,
how to like fully actually bring the master plan to implementation or to the change. Like, what's the.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what it is, right? It may be something that requires town council approval, or maybe something that just the town itself can take under.
Or if it's like, well, we should get all electric vehicles for the police station and chargers and blah, 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 or whatever it happens to be. Like, where does it go from the community?
Yeah, at least there, it's like that, those
Or
things would have to
something
be worked out. Like, you'd have to
Right.
go do some research, essentially, maybe talk to the right people, and that would be at the committees that own those chapters, right?
Exactly.
As it kind of happens now. But the advisory committee, to me, it'd be like, is this even reasonable to do?
Right.
Is that the right committee to take that on?
Yeah.
Is it something that could eventually go to the town council? Like, it's almost like kind of helping curate a little bit, like, our attention, I feel
Refine
like.
the chapter down to a single goal that you
Yeah.
can achieve.
Because, I mean, some of those
The right
lists we
people
got,
to
those
achieve
chapters
it.
are long.
Develop the plan, present the plan to the right people, try to get implemented.
That's why I see it.
Just trying to see
Bill?
like the whole
Yeah.
vision.
Bill?
And the second part of this, that we talked about the implementation, but there's this high-level discussion about where we want the community to go in terms of development. Are you thinking like, getting public input, or, we need more commercial, facilities, or we need more dense,
Yeah.
housing, or is that what you were looking for?
I think
Like-
part of it could be, yeah, definitely. So the way I see it is, say the board has a discussion, or the committee has a discussion, they want maybe more public input on this idea. Then they can reach out, notice it, whatnot, and try to solicit input. Could be, presentations about something, an idea that the committee has thought of or trying to work out more. I just see it as an opportunity, right now it's kind of nebulous, but it's an opportunity to have, more discussions on certain topics than, what's in the current master plan. Because things pop up too. over time.
Yeah, I mean, the master plan,
Yeah.
it's a 10-year process, if
Right.
you will, but, you know, it could be the reason that it changes one chapter
But
in
we
3 years from
wouldn't
now.
wanna talk about
Mhm.
any development that's in the works.
No,
right?
no, it's not about like single developments. It could be, development is occurring in general. We're seeing development patterns this way.
Right.
Do we like this or not? Or we're not seeing development somewhere, why? And then like have, those discussions. Like, what could facilitate that potentially? Or
So-
not, if we don't want development to occur.
Okay, let me pull this all back. First of all, does anyone here feel like they would want to serve on this committee?
I'd be open to it.
I'd be
Okay,
open.
great, all right, so would people just support, a request for Bart to kind of pull his ideas together into some type of a mission,
Mhm.
statement, purpose of the committee, who you feel would be, the representation on it?
Can I pause
Let's
for a
go.
second right there? Oh. Do you want this to be a town council appointed or planning board? Discussion. I think that's why I want to have this meeting. Which way do we want to go there?
Well,
I'm sorry.
no, I'd like to hear your opinion on
I was
that.
just gonna say, being master plan related, I
Right,
think it would
planning.
be more our charge.
Yeah,
We can create a committee of other committees.
yes.
You can create a subcommittee, basically.
And just say you have to supply a person to
No.
each committee, or
No, you
You can.
request it, but, it'd be nice I'd like to hear from Bart, here's who I think should be on this committee. And
Like
it could be public, appointees.
so like we have to appoint someone to like Conservation Commission.
We would request the Conservation Commission to
But
appoint
We
someone.
don't have to appoint someone to Energy. I'm just
No,
kind of
so-
understanding
so that's
how
the
how
idea.
The
our
makeup of
appointments
the
work.
committee?
Yeah, like the Conservation Commission has a planning board member. Are we required to appoint someone to do that?
No, we're not required,
Okay.
but we want
Okay.
a member.
That's what-
Representation.
I didn't know if it was a requirement.
No, but we want, so my idea is to have representation from those different committees, commission committees. And then at large.
So I think it would be good if you kind of put together some kind of a
Yeah.
proposal, if you will.
You go to I know you go to Concom, and do you go to all the different committees?
Public transportation, riverfront, Concom, here,
CIP,
CIP,
you're gonna be doing the waterfront.
Jeez, Bart.
waterfront.
Yeah, I know,
It's
it's
kind
kind
of like
nights.
riverfront.
That's more than 7.
That's it. And then town council I need to.
So would you like float the idea to each, at the next meeting you go to each of these boards to see if they'd be even like you just did, like vouch, would people be willing to even serve and kind of see the interest across all the different boards before?
I've kind of brought it up to a couple already, because what the plan board's is going to do, like doing updates, and they seem interested. So I haven't met any opposition there yet.
That's good.
And these would be public meetings, obviously, so anybody could really show up, right?
Yep.
I mean,
That's
Cool.
the idea.
Who would be so it would be, so if it's a planning board created, the planning board rep would kind of be like the chair of it, or would they elect a chair, or would you be?
Can we let Bart do his thing, and then I
I'm
think
just
it'd be
curious.
easy to flush it
I haven't
out,
thought, I haven't
right?
thought that, but, I can come up with some options and you all decide what you want. Great. I know
Okay.
what I need. Thank you.
Okay. Moving along. Oh, okay, so next item on the agenda, report from New Hampshire DES relative to Moody Point Stormwater Detention Pond Dam. Happy to answer any questions. It's interesting you got a copy of this.
I do. Oh. Well, it's the chair. I mean, are you chair of,
No, I'm the chair of the Stormwater Management Committee.
Okay, solid one, and then, yeah. Anyways, so I wasn't sure, I didn't really specify chair.
No, put me as the chair of the committee.
Yeah. But anyways, just, we got a copy of this, yeah, I'll go more detail if you wish.
Did it come to the planning department or the town?
Came to me.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I had the dam committee come out because we are in the process of determining that, when I say we, at Moody Point, the process of making decisions as to the continuing on, well, first of all, is it a dam? Does it fall under the Dam Bureau jurisdiction? And then how can they help us relative to any permitting that might be needed if the decision by the community association is to maintain the fire ponds there, or to remove the specific elements that have the impoundment structure make the impoundment or the impoundment qualified as a dam for registration. It was never registered back when the planning board approved the community back in the 80s. So I don't know
Can I ask
where
you-
that fell
So
apart.
the committee asked DES to come out?
I asked DES to come out, Stormwater Management Committee.
I was just wondering how this came about. It's
Mm-hmm.
unusual for them just to come out.
And he was great. But it's, as you can tell, the letter is recommendations. Please consider the following recommendations. But the association needs to decide if the pond itself it will likely be retained. They're having actually a meeting on Thursday. It could be used for, still fire suppression. So they're in, this will go to Bill, Jeff, because if the outflow structure is rebuilt and then retained as a fire pond, there'll be DES permitting, so you'll get like either, I think if it's a fire pond, it might be just a notification by permit. But anyway, so that's ongoing down at the community association, where it owns that.
Did it come to
That
planning
one.
because it was like a requirement to have a fire pond as part of the approval?
The original approvals, yeah, that was the fire pond.
So it's-
It's on all the approved plans as fire pond. So there's very different DES permitting relative to wetlands impacts for a fire pond.
Yeah. And do you guys have an alternate source now for fire suppression?
We put in a cistern years ago,
Okay.
so as opposed to reconstructing the fire pond.
So you don't even need the fire pond anymore. It's kind of more just a pond now.
I'm not saying that.
Okay. I didn't mean to speak. I was curious. It was more of a question.
The fire chief sees value in having a pond for fire suppression.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay? Any other questions on that?
So, I guess I have a few. Stormwater was my thing all my life. So are you guys trying to figure out how you're gonna do these recommendations? Or if you're gonna do anything with the recommendations, or?
They'll have a meeting on it. We have an environmental committee that we transferred, that basically maintain the pond. So there's structural, if the pond is being retained, there are structural elements that need to be replaced. It's, 40-plus years old, so the culverts, has, deteriorated to the bottom. The gate valve still all works, but there's always maintenance done. We use an environmental committee that actually does the maintenance of the pond, water quality wise. So, and there's different things that DES is trying to promote as well for like agricultural ponds, maintenance.
The other thing I was gonna say, this speaks to a bigger, broader issue with other stormwater maintenance on other properties, including the towns. Whether that, all of these stormwater ponds have been built. and
Yeah, this
whether
is
they're
not a stormwater detention pond. This is
Just a
approved
fire
as a
pond.
fire pond. And the Warren article, Bart can give an update on that after, the Cushing Road and Lumberland Drive, stormwater, proposed Warren article is for, quality of the bay, right, from the runoff from all the roads. Everything would be pre-treated So the pond would not be used as a stormwater management tool for treatment.
Yeah, it's nitrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would all, because everything would be pre-treated.
Well, I may be blending my issues here since it was part of the stormwater committee, but it's a fire pond. But I just kind of, it's a point of bringing up, how things are being maintained and other properties.
Other
Whether
di-
it's being done.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of
And,
every development that we approve,
Yep. And
I think in more recent years that there are maintenance plans associated with stormwater management that then they have to file reports. Is that how that works, Mark?
Reports and easements typically, so if they don't manage them properly, the town will come in and manage it, and then,
Yeah.
so.
But it's tied into the whole EPA's municipal stormwater permit.
Well, because Moody Point is part of the MS4 program, the discharges.
Yeah, but the town is also, Bar, maybe you're well on top of this, and I'm
Yep,
making
Lindsay
sure that
manages.
it's not there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always a challenge, especially when residents move, development stage, plans get lost. We, as a town, are doing much better communicating with developments, their responsibilities, and working with them if they're, having some difficulties. It's still a long way to go, but especially with those newer developments, they're very well aware of their responsibilities, and we do check in with them. So,
What about like the older ones, like Bennett Way?
it was a little more challenging.
Yeah.
But like maybe to your point is moving forward, we're more on top of the newer developments, and then try to work with the older developments more to come into compliance.
I thought at one point someone made a list of all the old, do you guys have a list? I thought there was a
Yeah,
list or
Lindsay
something.
has it, yeah.
Yeah.
Committee reports. Jeff?
I missed the meeting last, so
I didn't know
I
they-
have not watched it.
So the primary conversation, conservation was about Schanda Park and the stewardship of it. Currently, the Conservation Commission kind of manages the Schanda Park in conjunction with help from Buildings and Grounds, but they do all the permitting. If the area is being used or wants to be used. Anyways, Sam Kenny from the Riverfront Advisory Committee and myself, we kind of had a discussion with the Conservation Commission on, where the town is going at Schanda Park and the riverfront, and then wanted to know if the commission still wanted that responsibility or not. So we went over the history of how we got to today, and everything in between, and the commission is going to have a vote on it eventually, but it seems like they were more inclined to maybe, pass on its responsibilities to someone else. Hasn't been voted on yet, but what they were concerned about was making sure they still have a voice in anything that happens down there. And so kind of idea we were working on there was, well, maybe the Riverfront Advisory Committee expands to ensure that, obviously conservation has a seat there, but people that are already on there can still be on the Riverfront Advisory Committee, so it becomes maybe 2 more seats there. So basically right now Sam Kenny is the conservation chair, but he's not conservation. No, he's a conservation representation on the Riverfront Advisory Committee, but he's not a Conservation Commission member. The Conservation Commission just appointed him as their representative, so.
And the Concom only has a small portion of all of the town land. It falls under their purview, correct?
Right, so.
Especially with Navigene property.
Exactly, so the idea was that, they have easements and conservation areas that they're responsible for, not necessarily recreation, Schanda Park. It was a different time when that responsibility was given to them. They were, at a different, and now they're at a different point where their goals and responsibilities are elsewhere.
So from a town planning perspective and broader perspective, it makes sense to bring it to someone else's purview. Yeah. I know the folks that, when I was years ago on the commission, were very invested in it, and that's fallen off as members have left or passed away. I think, my personal opinion, I guess, over the last 15 years or so.
Anything else at Concom? Were there any permits?
No permits. We're still waiting on 200 New Road to come before the commission. Conservation did submit their letter, review letter on the 200 New Road project. So we, even from TRC, we still haven't heard from yet. So, but no other permits. The other thing they just spoke about is Turtle Fest planning. So that's alive and well, and looking forward to that.
What's the date this year?
Day before Mother's Day. I want to say the 9th, May 9th. But, yeah, that's all that happened.
Okay. Jane, nothing's dormant at this point, CIP. When do you start up?
That's the boss.
We're going to have to start
Yeah.
earlier, I think,
Okay.
based on the Charter Commission's
Oh,
recommendations.
May 9th is correct.
Yes. Big shift.
Energy did not meet in December. We're meeting this Thursday.
Jamie,
I need a committee.
you need a committee. We can deal with that.
Yeah.
Bill, we need a committee.
And
TC.
the town council has been primarily concerned with this new regulation. So for those of you who haven't heard, our budget has like a checking account and a savings account. And the checking account is stuff that we're expending in the year, and the savings account is stuff that we're squirreling away money for the future. So as an example, we need a new water tower. And so, every year we put a couple $100,000 into a kitty, and then we can go buy the water tower, right? So the state has decided that, and then we take that whole thing and we put it in a warrant article and we let the town vote on it. So the state has decided that that's not good, that we should vote on the checking account and the savings account as separate warrant articles.
Are you referring to the savings account as capital funds? Capital reserve accounts, so
Yeah.
more specific
Right,
placements.
so it's on things that are expensed and things
Yeah.
that are capital reserve.
Okay.
Funds, they go into a fund, right? So they want us to have 2 warrant articles now for the budget where it used to be 1. And so the total number is the same, right? But now you're giving the voters more opportunity to micromanage the budget, right? And so we're kind of, looking at what the impact of that's going to be. Our belief is 3-4 years from now, when everybody knows this is how we do it, that's not going to be an impact. But this year, we have the Moody Point thing, we have this land acquisition, we have a bunch of other warrant articles, and now we throw in this big one, which it's going to look like another big one, right? We got the budget, and then we got this.
Because each department has their capital improvement plan that is under the overall warrant article for the passing the budget, correct?
Right, but that's never been
not just
voted on
operational.
separately. It always,
we put it
it gets
under
rolled
operations
into the
report.
one number.
So-
And the one number it gets rolled into, it has if you approve this budget, here's the number, and if you don't approve the budget, here's the number.
Goes to the default.
Right. But on the warrant article for the capital reserve items, it's yes or no.
Right.
And if you say no, not only is it 0, but you're not allowed to take money from another department and put it into one of those things.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hesitation on the part of the council that this could either, impact, if that gets voted down, then a whole lot of things get screwed up. right? But it could also have a secondary impact, which is by adding additional large item, what appear to be large item warrant articles, it could make people think, well, okay, if I'm gonna vote for this, I'm not gonna vote for Moody Point, you know, or I'm not gonna vote for this land acquisition or something, right? So we're trying to modify it in such a way to make the warrant article as small as possible.
But we kind of do that now, though, right? I mean, our big one and done things like land acquisition, point, or buying something is usually a warrant article, right?
Yeah, but
But
now
the-
you're adding one more warrant article, which is a big number warrant article.
What's the
So
split roughly?
so-
What's the split roughly? Is it like 75, 25, 50?
I'm sorry, what?
What's the like split in the dollar amount? It's like now it was one, now it's gonna be two.
It's like, I don't know, do you remember, it's like maybe 2 to 1, kind of where the budget,
Does the
the
school, so
expenses.
the state law, the school will have to do the same thing?
They do the
Yeah.
warrant articles. But it was interpretation, so we'll
Huh.
add a little more context. What happened was, last charter commission, they recommended do how we've always been doing it since 2015. And the state law allowed it for it. In 2017, state law changed,
Oh.
and no one ever caught on. And we kept on doing it. Not that we're being nefarious or anything. It's just, we just kept on doing it. And then
Many towns kept on doing it.
all the town council towns kept on doing it that way. And then Charter Commission submitted their recommendations. It was picked up by DRA, so it's an interpretation. So we're looking for clarity. I think the towns are coming together that are affected by this, looking for clarity and potential, looking to representatives to maybe propose some bills to, fix.
Yeah, our lawyers are not certain that the DRA has a right to do this, but their opinion is,
It's final.
for right now, go with it.
If you bill it as year 2 of 5 warrant article, I might be more willing to say yes than just like, here's the
So
thing.
we're doing some other stuff, like we have this big account, all the orange bags, all that money goes into a fund. And it was to pay for solid waste, disposal. But it doesn't cover solid waste disposal, and so the town's just been paying for it. So we have a couple $1 million sitting there. So we're gonna put that we're gonna get rid of that, put it onto the balance sheet. And what that's gonna allow us to do is then go out and borrow more money. So for some of these capital items, we're gonna go either lease or buy, then as an expense, right?
Because they still have the expense, you need a new police cruiser, need a new fire truck, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
It is a capital asset.
Right.
It's
But
a,
if you lease it, then it's an expense, it's not a capital.
Yeah.
Which is why
It's
leasing,
obligation.
which is why people lease, right?
So, I'm just trying to be clear, so there potentially could be multiple warrant articles like that. I mean,
They're lumping them together.
Hmm?
They're lumping them together.
Yeah, we're putting them all together. They could, yeah. There was a question about, well, we could take each one of these, like, we got some money for sidewalk funds, so we got money for the water tower, and we could have each one of those be a warrant article. And we thought that could
that's
be
the
the case.
old, that's the old days at
That's the other way.
town meetings.
Yeah,
You vote on each line item.
and so we thought that would be too extreme from where we were. So we lumped it all together as one number. And the risk there, of course, is if it fails, they all fail, so.
Mhm.
And then you have that backup though with your money, and then you can buy the critical things on lease or something. Would you still do that? Like, would you still put like the police cruiser in the big vote and then
Well,
stuff
police cruisers are already leased.
Fire.
or fire
Yeah.
engine, whatever
Yeah.
whatever it is, you'd put it in,
Something.
and then if it failed, you'd take that $2 million and then maybe lease it.
Yeah,
You'd
could-
have to have a backup if it's a fire engine or something.
But,
Like I
but
said,
you'd be
the
double
state-
accounting in the budget.
But you have to
wait
be
till the
careful,
following year.
Exactly, you'd have
because
to wait.
if
I don't know.
the state says, if in that budget, there was a fire truck, and that budget was voted, and that warrant article failed, you can't then just go buy the fire truck
With a different means.
with a different money.
Oh, wow.
Because the people of Newmarket said, no, we don't want a fire truck.
Even if it's a lease obligation?
Even, that's my understanding, yeah, because then you're putting money from another fund into that warrant, into the items of that warrant article.
Oh, wow. So then you'd be like, we don't want to risk it with the fire truck, so it won't even go in the warrant article, we'll just use the money.
Yeah, so we're very carefully sorting through what we can put in there and how.
Well, I mean, I think once he's getting ready, this is going to be interesting. So we can take, two particular warrant articles, one being the Rosa property. So if that fails, the Conservation Commission still has the ability to raise funds to make that happen, potentially, because they have that ability.
Yeah, the
Whether-
town can't,
right?
but the Conservation
So-
Commission could.
And then you take the Cushing and Lumberland Drive, those are road projects. So it's, instead of being able to get loan forgiveness for a portion of those, road projects, is that gonna come out of the capital reserve funding that won't have any ability to get any of the loan
Yeah, I
forgiveness?
know,
So then now all of a sudden you don't have the state, paying 15% of the project. The taxpayers are paying 100% of the project.
Can you just vote warrant article, say put X amount of money into this fund, not for a specific item,
That's
but
what they're saying. They'll take Article 1 and break it down into 2 articles.
Yeah.
Operational, i.e. expenses,
Yeah.
and capital.
Yeah, so we're looking for suggestions on how to communicate this to the people of Newmarket.
Because this will happen in
Yes.
March.
It's already been, that was the last town council meeting. We approved the two.
And as it's a warrant article, it will say, this will be the impact on the tax rate at the end of it.
Correct.
Because it's a money warrant article.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
So we're
kind of
gonna,
like that you're separating out.
we're gonna put it on the
different things.
website, but I don't know how many people actually look at the town
I think it just
website.
needs to be clear in the ballot that like this is for future expenses, or I don't know what the
You
phrase
You
is.
can't, that's the problem with
You
the
can't do any of
ballot.
that.
Yeah, you
You can't do
can't.
any campaigning inside.
You're just explaining what it's going to be used for. So I can't-
Very strict
It's-
rules
Well,
on what you can say.
So,
At
what,
a general level, a capital reserve fund needs to have money in it.
No, it doesn't.
it doesn't.
Doesn't?
Well,
I mean,
it should, because
I do.
otherwise, you're gonna see huge jumps from year to year
Right.
for replacement of assets that no one's been saving for. We don't have an account that we are saving, and then when we need to replace that asset, the money's there. All of a
That's-
sudden, it's like, oh, that's no longer an asset, it's an expense, and it's going in the Article 1 of the warrant
Here's
article.
a great topic for the long-range planning committee to discuss.
Shameless
Well,
plug.
no, I mean, does anybody have any ideas on how we could explain this other than the website?
So when we got the TIF article passed for downtown, in Black Bear, same thing. I think the key to that was the public outreach through, at that point in time, it was direct mail, flyers. I mean, now we have better communication. There's got to be the different ways to get more of the groups involved with getting this issue out to the members, and we've got to have some great PR people in Newmarket that are probably on some of these committees that can draft language as an informational piece, that when the voters go to the polls, they feel like they're educated as to what they're voting on. And the ramifications, if it doesn't pass, what is the because that you can't put in the article, so what are the, if it doesn't pass, this is the resulting issues
So
the town
your
has to deal
suggestion
with.
is we create a flyer and mail it to everybody?
I'm saying that's how we did the TIF district. That was hugely successful to get the downtown TIF district.
Okay, I want to literally understand
Right.
what you did. You wrote an article and you mailed it to everybody?
There was a beautiful pamphlet produced as to
pamphlet.
what
And
was a
what'd you do with the
district. That was mailed to each
Mail,
individual
okay.
resident voter
Right.
of Newmarket. Okay, that's how that played out.
Of course, that's a little bit easier sell though, since there was no tax impact on the citizen, with the TIF, right?
Right, but
Right.
again, that gets down to the message, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the message is, yeah, there's gonna be, it's not that there wouldn't be anyway, because there
Right,
will be
no.
Article 1. Well, Article 1 will be a reduction in the tax, because your, Article 1 is gonna be very different than last year's budget, because
Yeah,
you're
you
pulling
have to-
out all the capital.
Right, so you'd have to compare the totals from last year, you know, it's the same amount, we're just separating it out, right? But
And how do you present that conversation to the voter before they get to the poll?
the harder part is the capital part, because it's gonna be a big number, and people go, wow, we're spending that one, but it's broken down with so many things in there, right? For all the different
Well,
departments.
there's like 12 or 13, I mean, it's not like 100.
Million.
Well, but it's the money wise,
No,
so.
items.
Money.
Oh, I didn't say.
So, really, I mean, from the money perspective, if I can see that Article 1 will be written and it's going to say a reduction in the tax of X, right? Because that number's gonna be so much different than last year,
Right.
Article 1.
Yeah,
Right.
because of two
All right,
different
and
things.
Article 2 is going to say, this is going to be the increase in the tax?
I haven't seen the exact language. I think it's just going to say, would you support, paying for these items?
Well, I think
It would have
there's
to be
an,
relative to what's on it. I think they would have to do it relatively. Like if you pull 2 million out, you can't say it was 10 million last year and 2 million this year. You got to say this portion was 2 million last year and it's 2 million this year.
then I think that's more I'm saying, how do you educate the public so they
Yeah.
understand what they're voting on?
Right.
And what the difference is from last year to this year, that it really may not be a difference, or that you have to look at the total, and this was last year's, if you're voting in both, here's the impact this year.
But
Because if there's a number on the warrant article, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to have, what's the impact on the tax rate? Right?
There is a budget increase this year, but I don't know how much is that operating versus capital, right? But you'd have to-
right. And then just the capital items should be compared to just the capital items last year.
Yeah, I don't have the
The police
number in
gonna
front
show
of me,
up.
but it's not updated. And the problem is, the stuff that we do at town council is the government, right? And we're like 20% of the budget. Almost all the money's in the school.
Oh, really?
But they have to do the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we could cut our budget in half and the total budget would be down 10%.
But so like the roads department would still be a separate item though, right?
That's a separate.
That's a
item.
separate
So it could be
warrant
like
article.
item 5 or 6 or
But
7.
my point
yeah.
is, if it doesn't pass, Conservation Commission still may
Yeah.
have other options,
Right.
right? To
Yeah.
pursue, other than direct to a warrant article.
And can you break that second part up into individual parts?
You can, but they.
You could, yeah, but
Say they didn't want to.
we decided that it was safer to have it as one item.
Because now you're voting on a water tower,
Everything
I'm gonna say a fire truck,
Yeah, sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
There's no stopgap.
Yeah.
this
It used to
road,
be.
that
So
road.
it's almost more
Are you
dangerous.
saying you're
It's like
putting a big, beautiful warrant article together?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
guess,
Just saying.
It seems more dangerous because, like, if they were individual, you would really get people to point where they want dollars spent. But when it's all together, there could be one item on there that cans the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's no, like you said, no default budget to fall back on. It just doesn't happen until the next year. So
Yeah, well,
breaking
we
the
were
buck
thinking
seems-
before this
seems-
happened of doing something like that for Moody Point, because as you know, Moody Point failed last time, right? And that was with a bigger,
Forgiveness.
forgiveness.
25%.
Yeah,
Well, it's been reduced to 15, so
Right.
that's a 10%
and so we're going back
more.
with the exact same thing, but with, actually now it's more expensive, right?
For-
You
for the
rejected it
taxpayer.
at, you rejected it at 25% off. So how about it only 15% off? Does that look better? Right? And so the belief was that, no offense, but many people believe that one of the issues was a kind of, why should we have to pay for these rich people to get their stuff fixed, right? And
Because it's not a Moody Point project, it is a road project.
Right.
For Cushing Road in Lumberland.
But
For
it's,
MS4.
right, but the town, we wanted to emphasize the town has a nitrogen budget. And we have to meet the nitrogen budget, right? And it doesn't matter where it's coming from, we have to reduce it. And this is a key part of reducing our nitrogen budget, because if we don't reduce it, we get fined, millions of dollars from the state.
And Rick still has to go and put in the roads.
You can
And
come to our
replace the
next TAC
40-year-old culverts under the roads. and-
Yeah.
So that the opportunity is, can you get the state to pay 15% of that?
Yeah,
It probably shouldn't be named Moody Point.
Well, it isn't.
it isn't named.
He keeps saying that.
Okay, but,
And it was very clear to not be.
yeah,
Okay.
Is it-
It's education. So what's,
Yeah.
what's
Right.
really going to be reported at this town meeting is education.
Right.
How do we communicate effectively to voters? So,
I think the challenge with the school board and the town council is to have some good PR that is way ahead of voting and I know Lindsay was working on this for this project, maybe Concom is working on it for, the purchase of the Rosa property.
yeah,
Is it,
yes.
it's an education of the voter.
The answer is yes, Jeff.
It was not
Yes.
Yeah, there's a PR firm, I think out of Portland that.
no, we
that
actually
brought
have a
in.
PR firm. The town has a PR firm.
Yes.
So why are you asking us?
Because the PR firm, because in the town council, we've been throwing out ideas on how to communicate this. And a lot of the times we say stuff like, oh, we give flyers out, in town hall or, in the school, and then, oh, we can't do that. And we could do this, oh, you can't do that, and I don't know if we discussed a mailing. I don't remember a mailing. No. But the,
And in today's environment, that's probably wouldn't be the process. I don't know. But the people who do this know.
yeah.
Your PR firm knows. If they're a public outreach PR firm. What works, what doesn't.
I mean, you've also got, extensive email lists, from for parents regarding notices of schools opening late or early. I get notices like after an election or whatever, here are the results. That might be a way to get information out there as well. You also have the big sign they put out, like, the Halloween bash is here or there when people drive by. You could put, go to this website. I think those might be some quick, easy, inexpensive ways
Yeah.
to kind of get your points out. But Bart, that work you did in the mill when you had the little community events and people went and talked and people got a chance to express their views, that was really great. Just to add to your plate.
Yeah.
But I bring it up only because I thought it was very successful and you got a lot of people, someone said something and then someone else said something. It really gave a lot of communication and exchange.
So I think
Well,
Yeah.
before you answer that, what was your percentage turnout of the number that you mailed?
it was very low.
I was about to ask the percentage of voters that actually vote, the percentage of voting
Eligible,
citizens.
yeah, people
eligible.
registered who
Yeah,
actually
is it
vote
like
in a non-election
10%?
year. Last
like
year.
500 or 600 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
last
Like,
one,
what's the
yeah.
demographic of those 500 or 600 people? And how do you best reach those 500 or
2,000?
600 people?
I believe
I was gonna say
the
500.
phrase is
We
flood the
had
zone.
800 voters last, I mean, because, Cushing Road, Lumberland Drive, I think lost by like 10 votes, 12 votes.
So I have an idea that might help. I've kind of been discussing with some colleagues is doing minute and a half videos
Yeah.
on each warrant article. Digestible, to the point, facts, accessible, and that might be more helpful.
The
You
town,
need to
the
do
town
that.
email? The weekly email? that
We put on the weekly email, put on the website.
Okay, this,
Could be on channel, whatever channel we're on now.
You can advertise it, and it's just click of a link and you watch it, and
TikTok, what else
Q-
kids
Q-
do these days?
I mean,
don't know.
QR codes on flyers around town.
Yeah.
so,
Like in the big bingy.
so
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
working on that idea.
That's what you gotta do, flood the zone. Everybody reads different things. Some people are email, some people are
Yeah.
mailers, just, you do it all and that gets everybody.
So right now, actually, we have on the website, we have a town meeting tab you can click on. And it has information on there, so I'm sure we had that before. But the idea is to keep that permanently, and then all the years
Okay.
just accumulate.
Anything else before council?
No,
Report?
that, you can imagine that was a long discussion.
I'm sure. Okay, so relative to continue that conversation that Bart just mentioned, the filing, so there are 2 3-year terms expiring, myself and Jane, and 2 3-year terms. Jane, you and I, we are through the 6th of April, and Bill, you're filling that term is a 2-year term that you're currently in. So there'll be 3 positions that will be voted on per planning board. And the filing period is the 21st of January through the 30th. Have to file in person, or you have to get the FedEx here by the filing date. So get the word out, and also too, if people don't want to run for a position, we do still have 2 open alternates.
So the position Bill was
Bill's
put into-
fulfilling the 3-year term, so it's a 2-year term because he's fulfilling a 3-year.
He still has to run, though.
He has to run.
That's what I was saying. So this upcoming election, his seat will be up on the
Correct.
ballot.
That is correct. That's the 2-year term, and then there's 2 3-year terms. So when you apply, you're applying for a 3-year or
But
a
I could
2-year.
run for the 3-year.
You could run for the 3-year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go for
Saying- I'm not saying that, have you guys decided?
3 and
You-
I don't think we should be, I don't think in this arena we should be talking about that. Okay, that was everything I had. Planners report, updates on grants
Yeah,
and
just
things.
a couple of items. So our next community outreach events, so maybe folks that participated last time, we kind of did a neighborhood by neighborhood or quadrant of Newmarket and try to get people to do what the exercises that Jane described. So we're going to reach out to them again and kind of present them what we heard. So it's just kind of follow up, make sure that the recommendations that would be coming out of this grant reflect what the community, each neighborhood, or people that at that time heard or expressed to us. So that's going to be from February 23rd to the 26th. So stay tuned. We'll send out postcards and and then master plan. At the next meeting, we're going to do 2 chapters: recreation and future land use existing. So kind of wrap that up, and then for the March meeting, you'll have everything in final draft form. And then if you're comfortable at that meeting, send a public hearing for April for adoption.
So it's a 6 p.m. meeting next time.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
Okay, so that's going to be the workshop.
Yeah. Any questions on those? Okay.
So you're targeting April as a public.
Ideally,
hearing.
April or May. Ideally, April. Because that'll be new planning board.
Right, that's why I'm saying I think you want to delay that till May.
Yeah, maybe we do May then. Next, road standard amendments. Tomorrow, the Public Transportation Committee is going to review a new appendix on road standards. So they've been having about a 1.5-year discussion, a year maybe, I don't know, it's been a long time, about this topic. And so staff, me and Lindsay, put together some standards that basically would be a new appendix and then reference to the site plan / subdivision regulations. So they're going to take a stab reviewing that tomorrow, and then maybe at the next meeting as well, then make final recommendations for the board to consider. So future meetings, so you'll be seeing that in the next few months.
And this would apply to future subdivisions or site plans.
Correct.
What kind of changes are you looking at?
New road standards, so different types of roads. bike path standards, basically road typologies. So instead of a normal rural road or something else, it's more context. So you can if you want to go on the website, they're up on the regulations, the draft regulations on the public transportation agenda for tomorrow. So encourage you to take a look and tune in if you want. And then we already talked about the riverfront, Schanda Park planning. Just an update, there's some warrant articles there on, so kind of emphasize the importance of these warrant articles come, at least the capital reserve. There's two separate articles. One's the stormwater planning, which would go towards future development of Schanda Park, and then also the actual stormwater capital reserve fund. So anyways, the only warrant article I want to update was on that. So Scott already, talked about it, so we're good there.
Do you want to report on the town purchase?
Yeah, so the Rosa.
But no, for the
11,
waterfront.
excuse me, yeah.
For the water.
Yeah. If folks don't know, the town, 2 months ago, a month ago, purchased 11 Creighton Street. So if you're familiar with where Schanda Park is, it's Schanda Park, house, lot, and pump station. So it's the end of Creighton Street. It's on top of a hill and it comes down. It's been a key piece that the town's been eyeing for a long time. Prior to purchase, there was a 40-foot. The property went to the water. It was 40 feet break in town ownership, so there was no way to cross without an easement or purchasing it. So it ended up in the market, and luckily town came together. I'm going to thank Amy Gajanje for the rec department director. Stepping up with her funds or her reserve funds. So I really appreciate her and being able to make this happen. So we're still. Oh yes, the town will be looking to do a boundary line survey because there are discussions to sell the house. So we just want to make sure that the new property has enough land, so it's conforming, and then the town would have the rest to have that continuity and continuous ownership of the waterfront. So, yes. Any questions on Creighton Street purchase?
All good?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other business? Hearing none? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Hey.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.